The Chechen rebels claim they're not only resisting, they're winning. Their weapons are makeshift. This is a machine gun mounted on a motorcycle sidecar. But their success is stunning. So far, the Chechens have kept Russia's army out of the center of Grozny. And 5 days after President Yeltsin ordered the final assault on this city, he's now called a halt to the bombing of the capital, which has killed so many and destroyed so much. The Chechens are bound to take it as a sign that Kremlin resolve to win this war may be weakening. These Chechen rebels are claiming that they now have Russian troops surrounded at 2 places in the city, the railway station and the airport. They believe the enemy is on the run. Grozny railway station looks like a graveyard of Russian tanks. These are the first pictures of the defeat the Russians suffered here, perhaps the most humiliating of their campaign so far. At least 30 tanks are reported to have been destroyed. The Chechens too are taking heavy casualties, of course, but they are prepared for the sacrifice, and their slogan is freedom or death. The Chechen people are ancient mountain warriors who've resisted Russian rule for centuries. They've all grown up with guns, and Russian MPs who've come down here from Moscow predict the Chechens cannot be beaten.
The Chechens are devoted to their independence, and they're ready to fight and die. All this was said beforehand. We warned that this would happen, that the use of force will turn into mass violation of human rights.
And that includes heavy bombing of the Chechen countryside. It's now emerged that even to attack small villages, the Russians have been using cluster bombs, lethal devices which contain lots of smaller bombs, which in turn are filled with ball bearings. Day after day, the death toll on both sides is mounting. But while public opinion in Russia might not tolerate this slaughter for long, the Chechen people have such faith their cause is just, they may never be deterred, even by the deaths of their loved ones. Ben Brown, BBC News, Chechnya.
Despite today's announcement of an end to the air raids on Chechnya, there is still considerable confusion about President Yeltsin's plans. Unconfirmed reports suggest that crack units of paratroops are being sent to the region in preparation for a renewed assault. The uncertainty is characteristic of a military operation that has turned into a severe embarrassment for the Russian leader.
Coming after the deaths of several hundred Chechen civilians in the air raids of the past weeks, President Yeltsin's claim that he's calling off the attacks out of concern about the number of casualties must ring a little hollow. In fact, it's the latest in a series of volte-face in a campaign dogged by vacillation, incompetence, and till now, abject failure. So what has gone wrong with the military operation? The Russian strategy was, by a show of force, to intimidate the Chechens into submission. But from the start, there were signs of insubordination and low morale, with at one significant moment a general disobeying orders to send on his tanks against unarmed civilians. The command in Moscow then ordered the airstrikes on Grozny, to no obvious advantage other than to galvanize still further an already highly motivated Chechen opposition. And when that failed, the Russians sent in the armor, but not enough of it, and what there was hopelessly vulnerable to the guerrilla tactics of the city's defenders.
You cannot send into a city like Grozny armored personnel, carriers and tanks without infantry support, where every single Chechen in town is against you.
Today's announcement of an end to the airstrikes may suggest that President Yeltsin is turning once more to diplomacy, but ominously it coincides with other reports that more, better troops like the Taman division are being flown to areas bordering Chechnya in preparation for a new assault. That would imply that the lesson he's learned is not that there's been too much force applied, but not enough. Whichever, the longer the current mess continues, the more he knows his own authority suffers.
This is an impossible situation which is very much of his own making and those of his close and intimate advisors. And it would appear, therefore, that if he pursues the course simply to go on, it means more and more bloodshed.
In storming the White House just over a year ago in the last great challenge to his power, President Yeltsin showed a combination of command and audacity that's been woefully lacking throughout the Chechen crisis. The difference may be that then there was a bedrock of political support he knew he could call upon. Today, that support appears to be draining away. Hugh Schofield, BBC News.